And needless to say, my body got very used to having that kind of stuff. I was taking 25, 30 a day. And it's so insidious, I didn't even know what was happening.
Right.
But it led me down a very bad path.
From the heart of Long Island, New York, we are inside the GP studio. We wake up today, we go today. This is the Primal Mindset. We are empowering the midlife man, and we are powered by Go Primal Lifestyle. It is a brand, and it is my lifestyle. Head to GoPrimalUSA.com, use code GPNation, help support my mission of supporting and inspiring men every day. I am your host, Chris Fontana. If you want to follow my mission, my journey as a midlife man and help support my mission, follow me on Instagram, Chris Fontana GP, alongside Jenna. We are coming to you to bring the best possible ways to empower the midlife man. We got a great guest on today. He's got a huge following on YouTube, Sports Talk with Dad, which is a great show. If you haven't seen it, check it out. New episodes drop every Wednesday on NGBN. You can catch them throughout the week. Catch them on their YouTube channel. Just a great show. So we're going to have one of the hosts on today. But before we get to him, this episode is brought to you by Momentous Supplements. They are an affiliate. They are a friend of the show's. I use these. Supplements are great. And as a midlife man, I got to tell you, the Tomcat Ali and the Fedoja is great for testosterone boosting, energy, recovery. So as a midlife man, absolutely necessary for me. I definitely can tell a difference. Also, they sent me this. If you check this out, this sleep, it's like a sleep package, which I've been using. It's like 4 pills in here. Get magnesium L-threonate, theanine, apigenin. I don't know, I can't even pronounce it, but it works great. I take that, it calms the mind, gets you to have a great sleep. So check them out. You can use our code GoPrimal15, get 15% off the entire website. All right, we will be back with our guest after this quick break.
Hey, this is Chris Rubio, host of The Rubio Method and Decades on NGBN.TV. I just finished a workout. I'm all hot and sweaty, and it reminded me, let me tell them about Chris Fontana's gear, Go Primal USA. It's a mindset, it's apparel, it's everything. You need to check it out if you have the Go Primal Mindset. GoPrimalUSA.com and use the code Rubio10, that's Rubio10, for a discount on all gear.
Drinks are fun, but alcohol isn't. Meet ProofNoMore.com. the #1 marketplace for the best non-alcoholic craft beverages. We offer the largest selection of non-alcoholic beers, NA wines, zero-proof spirits, and mocktails. So if you're in the mood for a rewarding brew or a cocktail without the booze, give Proof No More a try. Live more, proof less, at ProofNoMore.com.
In a world where settling is not an option, where confidence reigns supreme, there's a brand that embodies the spirit of empowerment and refusal to compromise. Introducing Go Primal, where every thread exudes strength and determination. Elevate your experience. Shop now and unleash your inner champion. Because when you wear GP, you're not just dressing for success, you're embodying it. Go Primal, where confidence meets courage. Refuse to settle. Shop now and conquer your world.
All right, back inside the GP studio. This is the Primal Mindset on NGBN TV. We got a next guest, a fellow NGBN member, one half of the show, Sports Talk with Dad. So let's bring Tim on. Hey, what's up, Tim? What's going on, man?
Not much. I'm the dad part of Sports Talk with Dad.
Yeah, that is the dad part, which they got a great show. I got to tell you, man, I really do enjoy you guys' show. I'm a big sports talk kind of listener. So, you know, here on Long Island, I'm always listening to Boomer and Gio in the morning. So it was nice to actually get a different perspective. And, you know, I kind of put you guys on and go about with my day, but I'm always, listening to you in the background. So, yeah, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for listening and watching. We appreciate it.
Yeah, nice. And every new episodes every Wednesday, correct?
Every Wednesday. This week we're going to have AC Carlson, also of NGBN. He's going to be our special guest, and we're going to hear a lot about his stories and what happened to him in the NFL, plus a lot of baseball talk this week, just because it's my favorite sport and there's a lot to talk about. So we'll be doing a little baseball as well.
Are you a Brewers fan?
Cubs fan.
Oh, okay.
And I'm also in that weird age group that I can be a Brewers fan and a Cubs fan because I used to be in the American League.
Okay.
But
okay, if that's what you want to go with, okay.
Push comes to shove, I'm a Cubs fan first.
All right. Yeah, all right. We got Rizzo on our team now. I'm a Yankees fan, so he was on there at one point. Today
is actually Kerry Wood Day. Today in 1998 where he struck out 20.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that when he came onto the scene, the young phenomenon, and kind of what was he? Just played with injuries, right? With him.
Yeah, his motion was never perfect. I know Nolan Ryan and Roger Clemens both tried to work with him a little bit on it.
Right.
But he was just a freak of nature, and true story. I was watching that game, and it was in about the second or third inning. And I called Kyle in. I said, "You've got to come and see this. You may never see this again." And on that day, he became a baseball fan and a Cub fan because he got to see Kerry strike out 20. I was going nuts. I was just amazed.
Yes. Speaking of Kyle, who your son and half of the show, how did you guys? How old was he back in '98 when he first became a fan?
Oh God, make me do math. He would have been about 9 years old.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So he's definitely younger than me. But so how'd that come about? The show, Sports Talk with Dad.
Well, we tell people we've been rehearsing it for 25 years, basically.
Yeah.
But we were having dinner one night with a friend of ours, and we were just doing our normal banter. And she actually said, "You guys should do this as a show because I love listening. Yeah, I mean, this has been fun to listen to."
Yeah.
So we thought we'll try it for a couple months. We'll put up a couple episodes. And we put it out, I think it was December 31st of 2021, we did our first show. And by about Father's Day, we did a special Father's Day episode. Things started to click and we started getting subscribers. And then there were more subscribers. And then last year, about March, we saw a big jump. And we're thrilled at what's happened. We've got a great group of viewers and it's fun to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think 110,000.
110. Yeah, I haven't checked today, but it was right around 110,000.
Yeah, definitely a huge following, man, and something I want to maybe at some point pick your brain a little bit on how to grow that following. I mean, I know the easy answer is put out good content, which you guys definitely do, and I wanted to have you on because for one, I'm always intrigued. I don't know if that's the correct word, but to see father-son relationships kind of at an older age, just because as my audience knows, I lost my dad when I was only 13. So to see that relationship, it was just always intriguing to me, and that's why maybe I gravitated towards your shows as well. I wanted to kind of you to come on because I know you have an interesting backstory and kind of similar with mine, so I kind of wanted you to give an audience a little bit of details on it, if that's all right.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm happy to tell the story. I mean, we had quite a falling out for a few years. Back in the early 90s, I was in a car accident and ended up having to have back surgery. And unfortunately, the surgeon I went to was a Dr. Feelgood. And he got me started, and he prescribed 125 Percocet and 100 Vicodin every 10 days for me.
Jesus Christ.
And needless to say, my body got very used to having that kind of stuff. I was taking 25, 30 a day. And it's so insidious, I didn't even know what was happening.
Right.
But it led me down a very bad path. Your personality changes. the worst 10 years of my life. Lost 10 years career.
Wow.
Ended up being divorced. Hurt the relationship I had with my sons because Kyle's got a younger brother by about 18 months. And I quit cold turkey. I had just gotten a job out in Colorado and made the decision I am not going to live this way any longer, and just stopped. It was the longest 2 weeks of my life, but it was to get on the other side of it. You slowly get yourself back. And Kyle and I could always talk about sports, even no matter how bad the relationship was. That kind of tied us. And no matter what was going on, no matter how mad he was at me, no matter how frustrated I was with myself, we could talk about sports. And so as we rebuilt the relationship, I coached them both playing tennis because I taught professionally and played professionally for a while. Things started to come back. I acted in a play with my younger son. And then Kyle actually moved to Florida I was in Florida for about 10 years. And Kyle moved down there, and we rebuilt the relationship to the point now where we're doing a show together, and he is literally my partner in crime. And, I know he'd take a bullet for me and I'd walk through fire for him.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't realize you were a professional tennis player.
Well, look, I was a much better coach than I ever was a player.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Wow. Yeah. So 10 years, you said 10 years of taking pills. Was it?
Yeah.
Like pretty much, was it only the Percocets and the Vicodins? Did you ever cross over with the Oxys through that whole?
Oh, they gave it all to me. They gave me fentanyl patches. They gave me oxycodone.
Wow.
I became a human lab rat with what they were experimenting me on. And
that pretty much sums it up right there, which I think, a lot of the pharma companies are experimenting on people with their drugs. And I believe with the whole oxy. Did you ever see that Netflix special with Matthew Broderick and about the was it the Sackler family? The people who created the oxys. Actually very, very like I always knew it was an issue, but like when you see that Netflix special, it's like you actually almost get sick watching it. Just how much money they made, first of all, how much they lied to not only to the people, but in actually lying to Congress, saying how it's not addictive, which is like insane when you're watching it, and how they hire these young, pretty college girls to be, their suppliers basically, because they were drug dealers, man. You hire these hot women to be the suppliers to all the doctors. The doctors aren't going to say no. They start pushing it on the patients. Patients get hooked. People are ODing. They don't know why. Young kids are faking injuries so they can, get the pills. And I mean, it is definitely powerful. I don't know if it would bring up memories for you, but I mean, if you're able to, I would say definitely watch it. It was definitely a powerful thing, and really just shows you these big pharma companies just how much they just lie and take advantage of people. And
the problem is that stuff is so insidious. The half-life, you take one, and then you may not need one when you first start. You may not need another one for 6 hours. Well, the next day it might be 4 hours, and then you need two to start with, and you just start spiraling. I actually went through, after all was said and done, and I was finally on the other side, I was curious, am I an addict or what was going on with me? So I went and was evaluated, and the psychologist just said, no, you don't have it. You weren't looking on the street. You weren't going down a further path. Your body just got so used to that stuff that you had to have it just to function. And,
you need it just to feel normal.
So I'm actually 20 years this year off of it.
Nice. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. Now, is it strictly just pills, or you don't do anything as far as like alcohol or anything? I
don't drink anymore. It's just better off not doing it. So, most I'll take will be ibuprofen and I'll leave.
Yeah.
And
Me,
Yeah.
I'm 6 years sober, and alcohol was my
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. Alcohol was my drug of choice, I guess you can say. I mean, I did everything, but it was always alcohol that was the issue. It was the easiest to get. Um, so I know I can't do anything because I smoked weed too. I was basically 24/7. Um, so it was. I know that even if I smoke weed, which people argue all the time, it's not that bad for you, and whatever people's opinion on it, but I just know I can never get that point where you have that feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is that is gonna just. I used to love smoking weed and then going to have a nice cold beer, and then that turned into an absolute shit show. So I just know
Honest.
I need to stay away from everything.
It's so funny because every time I go to a doctor, if I need a new doctor or whatever, I tell them, don't even ask because I'm not going to take it. Put it in the notes. I do not want this
Yeah.
stuff. And I had to have hip surgery in December, and the doctor asked before the surgery, he asked after the surgery, and he kept asking, going, "You sure you don't want some pain meds?" And I'm like, "No, pain is good. It's your body telling you you're not doing
Yeah.
something right." And
Right.
it's a hard argument to have to make with a doctor at times. They're just used to prescribing it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they like to give it out like candy, and I'm pretty similar situations with you. I've had like 5 surgeries in my life, but my last one, I was sober, and it was I dropped like a knife on my foot, and it actually hit a tendon, and had to get surgery on and repair and all that. So it wasn't like a major surgery, but it was a surgery where you definitely needed some pain medication. Obviously, you're going under, and in the hospital they would give me. But after that, I was like, dude, don't even, like you said, don't even write me anything. They ended up writing something. I just gave it to my wife because I'm like, dude, I told them I don't want this.
Right.
And I just dealt with it. It was more uncomfortable than anything than pain, because have this big boot on your foot to sleep and all that. That was like my biggest issue. Was like I just couldn't fucking sleep on it. So it's just like, man, but I don't even want to try to take anything to fall asleep. And I'm like you, man. I'll take some aspirin or Tylenol or whatever if I absolutely necessarily need it. It's like the last resort, man. I don't like really putting anything in my body. But I mean, for you to, especially, I've seen people with withdrawals with pain killers. So for you to quit cold turkey is definitely admirable, man. I give you a lot of credit for it. So
It was the longest 2 weeks of my life.
yeah, I would imagine. During that 10 years, though, I mean, I know you said you obviously ruined a lot of relationships. Was there any other things that happened where you can consider like, man, these are just like my rock bottoms? Because I mean, let's be honest, most of the time we have more than just one rock bottom.
Yeah, and there was. I mean, I was never out of work a day, but I went through a lot of jobs. But it was always good enough so I could get another one. And looking back on it now, I obviously lost some of those just because of the pills, because those become the priority, not the job, not the family, not your wife. So it was a lot of bottoming out, and there were times, if you're going to go on a trip, God forbid you don't have your prescription with you.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're not going to be able to function. So there was a lot of that going on. If there was a day where you couldn't get a prescription until the next day, those were hell. And it was like going through a series of mini hells until you finally got to the point where, I'm not doing this anymore. I can't.
Did you ever get to a point where you didn't have the prescription and you were looking to get it on the outside?
Never. That was one bridge I was never going to cross. I mean, I had somebody offer me $50 a pill for them, which I said no because they were more valuable to me. But I never went down the path of heroin or any of the other street drugs. I was just a little afraid of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's I mean, shit. Now, I mean, I was actually funny. I was talking to my wife the other day about this, and I forgot I've heard something. Someone overdosed. Forgot what it was. And I was telling her, I'm like, man, thank God I got sober before this whole fentanyl shit really is affecting people, because once I had a drink in me, once I had that feeling, my decision making went severely downhill. So, I mean, there was
Absolutely.
times, I would take pills. I would, do whatever. We would go and get cocaine. And nowadays they're putting it in the cocaine. And, I had a friend who, from high school not too long ago, just made a bad decision, went out and was drinking and decided to, get some of that and had fentanyl in it. That's
Oof.
it. Dead, got 2 young kids. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, so yeah, thank God I never had to deal with that. And that's what keeps me kind of on that path now where I'm like, I got 2 young kids and actually a third on the way. So like, man, I'm like, I just know I can never, ever, like I always say, one drink is going to kill me. And that's just the
Right.
path that's going to take me down. I know that for a fact. So
I
yeah,
feel the same way. And now the thought of even if I think about taking anything, it just makes me sick to my stomach, which I'm really glad of. But
yeah.
And in the end, I'm very blessed because I came out on the other side. I ended up with a daughter because of it on the other side. So she got to see, I got a chance to be a dad for a second time.
Nice.
I was dating somebody right after my divorce who had a 4-year-old little girl. We dated off and on, tried to make it work for a while. When we broke up, Cassie, my daughter, pulled me in a room and said, I only have one question. I said, what's that? She said, are you still going to be my dad? And I said, I'll be around as much or as little as you want, and it turned out to be, I saw her literally every day or talk to her every day. And a lot of credit goes to her mom for letting us do that.
Right.
And then when she turned 18, she said, I know what I want for my birthday. And I'm thinking another car, a trip to the Bahamas, something along those lines. And she's like, no, I want what I've always wanted. I want you to adopt me.
Wow.
And I did. And of course, I turned into a puddle at that point.
Yeah.
And the
So
boys.
She's never seen you on anything.
She's never seen me take a pill. She's never, she's seen me maybe have a cocktail once in a while, but no, she never saw any of that. And the boys and my sons have tried to tell her, look, be happy you've got this dad. And they've they've adopted her. I mean, she is the little sister. And as she told one of them on Father's Day one year, I'm the chosen one. And my son was like, what are you talking about, the chosen one? We were here first. And she's like, yeah, Dad has to love you. You got the same blood. He chooses to love me, so I'm the favorite.
Yeah.
She's not wrong. I mean,
yeah. That's pretty funny. So yeah, I mean, I know there was a lot of what was that like final? Like for me, I know, my final rock bottom wasn't even the worst thing I did. I think it was just more of like a mental rock bottom. So is that kind of like where you were at too, where it was just like, wasn't even necessarily like a bad thing that happened. It was just like mentally like, dude, that's it. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah. Like I said, I had gotten a job from a very good mentor of mine. He asked me to come to Colorado and work for him. And he was such a great guy and so important in my life that there was no way I was going to embarrass him by continuing to take it. So it was a good impetus for me to quit. And I had to get off it fast. So I locked myself in my little apartment for 2 weeks, took a lot of Benadryl to try to get some sleep. Yeah. But, when they talk about spiders crawling in your arms, that's all very real. And, and that was it, and I got divorced later that year and we're still friends, obviously, but she went through a lot, as did the boys.
So was there no going back at that point with your ex-wife? Like, even though you technically, I guess, got sober when you guys were still married.
We did, but there were a lot of wounds, and you'll lie about anything, and the biggest lies are the ones you tell yourself while you're taking that crap. And it just got to the point she's gonna look at me and go, okay, he's clean, he's sober, he's being honest. Too much water was under the bridge.
Yeah. Unfortunately, man, that's the life of an addict. You burn a lot of bridges. You mess up relationships that unfortunately never can go back to where. I mean, I look back now. I mean, friends and like stop hanging out with you, stop calling you. I went through one marriage, during my alcohol days. So, it's tough, man. It's tough on everyone. I would say the toughest on the kids, man. That's got to be horrible. And God willing, my kids will never see me have a drink. So, definitely, like I said, commend you on that. And looks like we always say our darkest days turn out to be the best, because they absolutely, make who you are today. And look where you and your son are today.
Yeah.
So you guys said you started the show in 21?
Yeah, New Year's Eve of 21. So we've been doing it 2 years and a few months now.
And when what was the year that you got sober?
2004.
Oh, okay, so you had a while of kind of making up for everything before.
Yeah, and it took a while, but it was also learning who you are again.
Yeah.
And learn to live a sober life again, which was, was different.
Yeah, not easy.
Yeah.
It's trying to enjoy the things that you used to without having the things that it used to make it fun, if that makes sense, and it's funny, man, because talking obviously about sports and stuff like that, it took me a little while to even just to get back into sports, and I think it was a few reasons. It was one, shit, that's what you did. Like when we go out and watch playoff games, you're getting fucked up at the bars. When you're watching big, Yankees versus Boston, we're getting fucked up at the bars. Ranger Islander series, you get, you going to bar. I mean, so many games I don't even remember. Going to so many games, don't even remember. Getting kicked out of the Garden so many times, don't even remember. So to enjoy something again without that alcohol, it was tough. And then also, I think when I got sober, like your priorities kind of changed a little bit. It was almost like, I don't give a fuck who wins this game. I don't really care, man. But that love's starting to come back, and especially now I got my young boys, and man, sports between a father and a son is great. So that's something like I noticed is starting to come back. But like you said, man, you gotta learn to love life again when you're sober.
Man, you gotta learn how to forgive yourself too. And that took me probably 15, 16, 17 years before I could finally forgive myself looking back on it. And Kyle's really the one who got me over that hump and said, look at what you've accomplished since then. You've got to let it go. You've got to forgive yourself. Still tough at times, but for a large part I did. But you asked about any other points. I've had one tennis coach my whole life, and right before I moved to Colorado to take this job, he probably was the one that started, because I went to just work with him for an hour because I haven't been playing for a while. I thought, this would be a fun time. I was on the court with him for less than 10 minutes, and he called me out, and he just said, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And he didn't force me to tell him. He didn't want to know. He said, "You're just not right. You need to get yourself fixed because you're good to nobody right now." And I think that was the start of it. And then when the other guy hired me, that was when I crossed the line and said, "Okay, we're done."
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you did, man. You haven't looked back since, and now look, you guys are doing big things and got a great show on YouTube. You get to hang out and talk sports with your son, which I think that's every father's dream, man. To to sit there and bullshit with your son about sports, And I mean, my kids are real young, but we were watching the Ranger game, and I'm telling them, hey, Rangers are gonna win. They're rooting for the Rangers. They're rooting for the Knicks. They like the Yankees. So you start early, man, because I remember those memories with my dad, growing up and going to games. And, when you're young, that's like the best thing in the world, man, to go to like a stadium. You see the grass, like, holy shit, look at this, look how green it is. And, I can't wait to really experience that with my boys. And it would not happen if I didn't get sober. It's just how my life is. I just know I can never have a drink again. And that's fine with me. I'm doing well, and you're doing well. And, it's tough sometimes, but you just got to remember where you came from sometimes. I always say don't dwell on it, but you do have to kind of remember it, remember that feeling. And does that ever help you when times are tough to think back sometimes and be like, all right, man, look where I came from. It could be a lot worse.
Yeah, it is. And something else my dad told me, and he passed away, God, 30 years ago now. He had me later in life, and he always looked at me and goes, I'm not a rich man. I mean, he was a dairyman from Wisconsin, so he had a dairy and delivered milk. He goes, the only thing I can give you is your last name. Don't ever do anything to disgrace it. And I look back at that, and he's right. I mean, that's what we're all given, is a last name.
Right.
And you want to do proud by it. You know, you're going to have your bumps in the road, but I don't want to ever disappoint him again. Whether he's here or not, I know he's watching.
Yeah, I think they're always going to be watching. I think you have to hold on to that. You know, it's the same with me. It's been probably about 30 years, 30 years since my dad died. And wow, 31 years now. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's scary how time flies.
Yeah, that's for me, it's a weird feeling, to be honest with you, man, because I almost feel like, not that I don't know who he is, but almost like I don't know who he is because I was so young when he died. I just know him as, the guy, who I didn't really know how he was as a man, as that makes sense,
Right.
And that's why I say I'm kind of always intrigued by seeing father-son relationships at an older age, because I never had that, and I always, and I have my young kids, man, but I always think of how he was with me, and that really helps me be a good father because I know how he was with me, and that's how I am, going to be with my boys, and God willing, I'm going to be able to see them grow up and be better than me because, that was one thing he always said to me when, I used to always tell him, I just want to be just like you, Dad, and he always say, no, be better than me. And you don't understand it as a kid. You're like, what the hell? What do you mean? But now, now when I have kids, I'm like, fuck yeah, I understood what he was saying.
My dad said the same thing. He goes, you've got way more talent than I ever had. You need to do great things. And he said that to all of us.
Yeah.
My mom was always the one that said, you can do anything you want to. You just have to want it and hard enough and work hard enough for it. You'll get there.
Yep, absolutely.
Good life lessons.
Yep. We're going to take a quick break, though, and we're going to be back more with Tim.
In a world where settling is not an option, where confidence reigns supreme, there's a brand that embodies the spirit of empowerment and refusal to compromise. Introducing Go Primal, where every thread exudes strength and determination. Elevate your experience. Shop now and unleash your inner champion. Because when you wear GP, you're not just dressing for success, you're embodying it. Go Primal, where confidence meets courage. Refuse to settle. Shop now and conquer your world.
All right, we are back here in the GP studio on the Primal Mindset. Catch us on NGBN TV. We're talking to Tim Carney, half the host of Sports Talk with Dad. So yeah, man, I kind of want to get into kind of like where we talked about where you were, and I want to talk about now where you are today with your show. And I want to know how you got that many subscribers. What did you guys do when you first started out and back in 21?
So the very first show we did was something Kyle and I did probably 15 plus years ago now. We actually came up with a plan on how baseball could be better by changing the divisions around and several other things. So we did the first show on how to fix baseball. It wasn't until we started talking more about football that we started getting a lot of subscribers. Sadly, baseball isn't what it used to be.
Yeah.
We always talk about things that we like and we're interested in. And, I think the key in what people like is I know where he's going usually before he gets there, and he can do the same with me. Mm-hmm. We actually did a lot of checking around to see if there was another show with a father and son, both adults. And there wasn't. There were a couple with fathers with young kids or whatever. But it was, we just started doing it. And as I said, we were planning on a couple months. And then we were going to hang it up, and hey, it was fun while it lasted. But then it just kept growing little by little, more and more. And last year, I actually made stupid bet that fortunately I didn't have to pay off. I said, if we get to 100,000 subscribers, and this was at a point where we maybe had 50 or 60,000. So it would have been about June last year. If we get to 100,000 by the end of the year, I'll get our logo tattooed on my body.
Yeah.
I'm not a tattoo guy. Kyle's got a couple. I'm not. And we got to 97,000, and I was sweating it because it had to happen before New Year's Eve. And fortunately, it did. We rolled over 100,000 right after the first of the year, and we've had another 10,000 or so now. It's still growing, and we're still having fun with it. And there's things that we can always do better. I mean, we've talked to other people. We can get more engagement with our audience, which we want to do. But we're more like a radio show, and we're more entertainment rather than engagement. People watch us or they listen to us when they're working out, when they've got to drive or something. And it's just worked well. I think what we do, because it's pretty quick paced, we always keep it to within an hour or so. People can laugh with us and just have some fun with us for an hour or so, and then go back on with their day.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned that earlier in the show, and it does, remind, like I said, of sports talk on the radio, where you put it on, and then you kind of like doing things around the house. Like usually weekends, I'm, taking care of my boys and cleaning. My wife works, so it's like you just put it on and you go about your day and do things. I say though, what first attracted me to you guys' show was not only sports talk with Dad. Obviously, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna check this out, see what it's about. The look to it really kept me, which I'm always trying to improve the look of my show, and I think that really helps because it catches people's eyes and it just gives them a feeling right away. So to me, just to let that the look of your show, I love just like the the background and how you guys look, the background to you and the background to Kyle. So yeah, I really enjoy the look to it, and that's what kind of kept me, in the beginning. And then obviously the content is really good. Did you guys mess around with that at all, or was that?
Yeah, we had. If you look way back, we did it out of a little office we had at first, but then as it started to grow, we had there's another room in Kyle's basement that we were able to transform into the studio, and then we put up painstaking, miserable, rotten weekend putting up the wall behind us. Yeah. And just trying to get it to look nice. He did all the work on the logos. He designed it. We tried to find one, and then we just decided to put the TV up there and put the logo on that. Yeah. And it gave me an excuse to display all my bobbleheads.
Yeah, so, there you go. And you got your the pack is behind you, and man, that number 12 right there.
Yeah. You a Jets fan or a Giants fan?
Yeah, unfortunately, I am a Jet fan. Man, I really thought that was gonna be like the guy. He's coming out with the American flag. I'm like, man, this is it. This is gonna be the season. Nope.
May still be. I love Aaron Rodgers.
No, I mean, I think, yeah, if he can stay healthy, obviously, be a lot better than what we had last year. But it's just a matter of staying healthy, man. He's right. Not young, and they put together a really good team. It was just that missing piece. Obviously, is a big piece, the quarterback. But I mean, that's just typical fucking Jets, man. When I cannot believe that just happened.
I could. Well, you didn't have an offensive line. Let me ask you this, because we're actually doing this topic on the show tomorrow a little bit. We obviously we talk about our favorite players, and we've got a Mount Rushmore for the Packers, which is kind of hard to come up considering how long they've been around. Who's on your Mount Rushmore for your Jets?
Man, that's
only one quarterback.
I can only pick one quarterback.
One quarterback.
That's a tough one, and believe it or not, I mean, I guess Testaverde, he had good success, but I really like Chad Pennington. He got a lot of shit for, not having a strong arm, but man, he was accurate and he was very smart with the ball.
Yes, he was.
And he, so I always liked him. So I would say, yeah, quarterbacks, I would say definitely Pennington. Can't go wrong with Curtis Martin. Great player, great guy. I love Corbett. he's like the little guy from Hofstra from Long Island. He's that feisty little guy that you didn't think would make the team, and had a hell of a career. Unfortunately, with the concussions and stuff like that, but he had a great year. Lavernius Coles, another great wide receiver. I mean, I don't know if I can only pick one wide receiver.
No, you can pick any. Only one quarterback. After that, it's a free throw.
Okay, yeah, Lavernius Coles I like too. He was also like a really tough player.
Kyle has never known a bad Packer team.
Yeah,
I mean, when he was born in '89, so he went from Favre to Rodgers and now to Love. He's ready to put in the Hall of Fame, which I'm not yet.
Yeah, I hear him all the time with that. I'm like, whoa.
Let the kid play a year on his own.
Yeah, that's a tough one, but I mean, yeah, you guys have definitely been pretty lucky with that. That's probably one thing that we really haven't been lucky with was getting those solid quarterbacks for a long time. So we'll see, man. It's tough to say, but I think they got a good young team. And we'll see how it goes if Aaron Rodgers can put together a season.
I hope he does. I would love to see. I mean, in my dream world, it's Packers and Jets in the Super Bowl this year. I would love that, but I think he's going to have a little harder time in the AFC getting past Mahomes and Allen and all the rest of them.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, at least our division isn't that. I mean, we spent years getting destroyed by New England and Brady. So like that was always. Like you knew you weren't winning the division for a long time, but at least, and now they're probably going to be the worst. So I don't feel bad for them at all. I'm not a fan of Boston, so not too worried about that.
That's allowed.
Yeah, but I think if they, like I said, if Aaron can play the whole season, I think they got a really good shot of going far. I mean, hey, look, last year I think they almost beat the Chiefs. Mahomes had to win it at the very end, for the, what he does. But they were able to beat Philly. They were able to beat like good teams. We're like, how the fuck did they do that?
Yeah.
But then they pretty much would lose to everyone else. So I think they can definitely make a good run if Rodgers stays healthy.
That's going to be the key.
Yeah.
And he plays better when he's got a chip on his shoulder. And I think he's got a lot to prove this year, so he's in the right mindset.
It definitely does. And I think he wants to. I felt like he wanted to be here. I mean, who knows? Like he's also a little weird sometimes, I think, which I didn't really notice until you start seeing more of him and hearing more about him. But it seems like it was pretty, it seems like he was pretty genuine with wanting to be here and wanting to do good for the Jets.
Well, and as Packer fans, we're going, okay, he's going to go there for a couple of years, and then he's going to end up in Minnesota just to complete the following of Favre all the way around.
Yeah.
But
don't even get me started on that. I was not happy when we got Favre. I didn't think it was going to be a good thing, even though they did start out pretty well and then just took a dive.
Favre got hurt.
Yeah,
that season.
I
said all along, the only record he cared about was getting the all-time consecutive starts record. That's the only one he cared about.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you think he's done, and then ends up going to Minnesota, and you're like, Jesus Christ. Again, typical Jets. He comes here and he doesn't finish, and we shit the bed, and then goes there, and you think he revives almost revives his career in a way. But man, I've gotten used to it. Believe me, I got thick skin when it comes to football and the Jets. But it just seems that they find a new way every year, man. So we'll see how it goes.
And I'm hoping the Packers continue what they were doing. Jordan Love has a great year. He's going to get paid. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Nice, man. So how did you get involved with NGBN? Like, did Ian reach out to you, and what kind of was like the connection where you're like, yeah, I really want to be a part of them?
It was a strange confluence of things that happened because I had discovered Ian and NGPN just through a couple friends. They said, hey, you should check this guy out. And I did. I reached out to Ian. I said, hey, please check out our show. Let me know what you think, whatever. He called me that afternoon and said he was in a meeting that morning and was praying that he had to find some content. And he was hoping God would lead somebody to him. And I said prayers earlier that day going, look, we have to expand this. We need to get on, see if we can find a network someplace that we can call home. So it was two prayers coming together at the same time. And he reached out and we put it together pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, nice. Well, I'm glad you guys came. And obviously, we're trying to inspire men, and it goes along with my brand of having that mindset to refuse to settle in life. Did you have any contemplations or any thoughts of suicide during your addiction at all?
I got to some low spots, but that was never going to happen because I had a niece who committed suicide when she was 17. And I saw what that did to my sister and actually the whole family.
Yeah.
When they say a long-term solution to a short-term problem, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to tell my dad that what had happened, and I literally saw a man aged 10 years and 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So that was never going to happen. And I'm kind of a hardliner on just giving up on life to that point. And that's really what I loved about NGBN, because there's always somebody to talk to. There's always somebody that will help you get through whatever you're going through right then. There were times when I was thinking, God, I can't take another one of these pills, but if I don't, I'm going to be miserable. And but I never crossed. I was really, really down, and there were, a couple times thinking, there's a truck going by me, but it was never ever going to happen, because I was never going to do that to my family what happened when my niece passed.
I'm the same way, man. I never, I always say, like, I also had a cousin who, 16, unfortunately took his life as well. And like you said, man, I see what it did to my aunt, to my, younger cousins who found them. And I couldn't imagine. Then I have kids now, and I'm like, Jesus, man, I couldn't imagine that. All right, that was Tim Carney. I want to thank him coming on, talking about his life, talking about his show, Sports Talk with Dad, which you can catch new episodes every Wednesday. And we will be right back with Long Island Matters.
In a world where settling is not an option, where confidence reigns supreme, there's a brand that embodies the spirit of empowerment and refusal to compromise. Introducing Go Primal, where every thread exudes strength and determination. Elevate your experience. Shop now and unleash your inner champion. Because when you wear GP, you're not just dressing for success, you're embodying it. Go Primal, where confidence meets courage. Refuse to settle. Shop now and conquer your world.
Everybody going through it. Everybody going through it. Everybody. But we still gotta pursue it. Gotta do it. Cause we all going through it. Everybody going through it. Everybody going through it. Everybody going through it.
All right, everybody is going through it. We are back on the Primal Mindset inside the GP studio, and it brings us to our Long Island Matters segment, brought to you Go Primal Lifestyle. Head to GoPrimalUSA.com, use code GPNation, and start wearing the mindset to be the best for the ones that need you the most. That was that video done by my friend Chris Brennan. Does amazing drone work all on Long Island. Then we'll make a picture for you and put it in a nice frame. It really does amazing work. Also, Swigware. He does these customized tumblers. As you see, I got my West Islip Strong drinking my coffee. Another great one, if you're a content creator, check this out. You can put your phone onto a magnet of a tumbler. Put it on a tablet as well. Get some good content, can record yourself. That's Swigware. So you can follow him on Instagram, Dr. Brennan MD, and also at Swigware. Also, Proof No More is a sponsor of the show. Based out in Brooklyn, New York, and then they also have a brewery here in Bayshore. All non-alcoholic spirits, wines, beers, anything you can think of. They got non-alcoholic. Really great supporters of the show. And me being sober, I like to have a nice non-alcoholic beer every once in a while. So if you head to the proofnomore.com, use our code, and you'll get a discount on the whole website. Also a good friend of the show, Sweet House Ideas. Angie, she does floral arrangement. They're silk, so they'll never die. These chocolate covered desserts, which are amazing. So everything is beautiful, looks great. These little mini donuts she has, man, I love them. I have them. There you go, right there. They're amazing. So you can check her out at Sweet House Ideas. Reach out to Angie and order something today. You got Mother's Day coming up, so definitely hit her up. Long Island Prep, another great friend of the show, sponsor, a great organization, really helping bring awareness to mental health and addiction in the schools. And as you know, childhood friend Paul Vecchione started this. He's a teacher on Long Island, loves it. So let's bring him on. Let's talk about what's going on.
How are you? Finally got back around, man. It's been crazy, but all good.
You got a lot of shit going on, man. I love it.
I do. And it's funny. I was talking today to a couple of friends and I'm like, I had the cushiest job. Not that my teaching job is easy, but there was an end to it. And I was done at 2:30 and home but look, it's all good. There's a lot going on out there, as you know. I loved your last guest, by the way. I loved what he had to say and everything, talking about mental health, addiction. And, listen, I mean, these are topics that everybody's, talking about these days because it's impacting everybody. So we got to make a difference,
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a great show too, by the way. You got to check it out on YouTube. Yeah, it's good sports talk, him and his son. So I see, man, you got your event coming up. I see you got some more sponsors. You got more people coming. It's getting bigger, and tickets are still available, right?
Good. Yeah. Just head to longislandprep.org. May 23rd, our Night of Inspiration, our second annual Mental Health Matters Gala. We got some good people coming out. Paul Fraze, a former New York Jet, Jackie the Joke Man Martling is going to come and make us laugh. Nice. Ray Kashkar, who rescued the Navy SEALs from the Somali pirates and inspired the movie, with Tom Hanks, the P.S. I Love You Day Girls, Jamie and Brooke De Palma. So we got a whole lineup of people coming out to inspire the community, to let people know that mental health matters.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I know there's a limited tickets available, so everyone, please, if you're thinking of coming, and it's gonna be a great event, I'm gonna be there, man. I can't wait.
Looking forward to it.
So limited tickets still available. So I want people to jump on that. It's gonna be a great event. What else you got going on? Anything else you got in the works?
So we just announced our partnership with Nassau County PAL. We're going to be doing some community forums and workshops for the parents out in Nassau County. Through Nassau County PAL, we're going to do, like we said, we got a lot of work to do for, a lot of people. So we were really pleased to work with Nassau County PAL to hook it up with a partnership, and we're going to be working with their units. I believe there's 31 of them in Nassau County. So just another avenue for us to get out there and just let people know, that we got to address this mental health and, addiction crisis head on. Nice, man.
And I think I see like you're doing something with the library. You're going to be doing
Yes, this week. So Wednesday night, Lindenhurst Library, we're going to be doing a workshop on how to support a healthy mental health framework at home for parents, for their kids. And then on Thursday, we'll be at West Isle Public Library doing their mental health fair. Yeah, we'll be doing a workshop there on social media. So we have, man, we're just cranking them out, getting in front of people, letting everybody know, that we're out there to, listen, I think the key to this whole thing is just informing the public, informing parents, informing kids to, just be aware of these things so we can prevent it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You gotta let me know how you did that. I actually reached out to I don't know, maybe 100 libraries, man, trying to get in there and
it's tough. It's definitely tough. They actually reached out to me, but here's what I'll tell you. Just keep pounding that social media. It's amazing the exposure, and I hate social media because I'm not good at it.
I'm with you on that one.
I'm not good at it. It's time consuming. I got big fat thumbs, so I make a lot of. Just keep getting your brand out there, bro. People are talking about it. You got a great thing going, so just keep getting it out there, and people take notice.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And as always, I appreciate you coming on. Really looking forward to your event. Just let people know where to reach you if they want. And I know you got a podcast, so let people know where to watch it also.
Awesome. Thank you. So you can check out the Mission Z podcast. That's on YouTube. It's also at missionzpodcast.com, where we get people on to talk about these issues, parents, professionals, people who are involved with it. I know Chris was on there when it first started.
Yeah,
It's a lot different now, Chris, so we got to get you back on there.
Yeah,
But,
definitely, man. Let me know. Anytime,
yeah,
anytime, man.
Thanks, dude. So if you're interested in coming to the event, just go to longislandprep.org. You can buy tickets right there. There are sponsorships still available. And we'll see you on the 23rd. Thank you so much, Chris.
Coming up next, I want to thank people who make the show great. Jenna, thank Tim for coming on, and thank you to all the sponsors. And as always, confidence is king.